Okay, now I am being limited by the assembler speed. I am assembling 30 large containers to just build the connection line over there. Look at the amount of resources we have. I sort everything into a single container. 300 tons of iron ingots, 30 tons of nickel, 10 tons of cobalt, 6.5 tons of silver, 2 and a bit tons of gold. And still refining even. That's pretty crazy. Wow, there's a lot of cargo containers over here. That's, I guess, one downside of getting everything built out of cargo containers, but you could always just hide empty. So, oh, you could also disable show block inventory screen, but if something goes into them, you won't be able to see it, so I guess just hide empty is good enough. Also, you don't really have control over what goes in which container. I think the stuff dumps into the nearest container from refineries and assemblers. So if they are nearby the middle, then stuff will go there. But the problem is, if it dumps into containers that are further away, then you will have a really hard time rotating around, because you want to have all of your mass as close to the center point as possible so you can move around. Rotate around faster. I also built a bunch of spotlights at the base to light stuff a bit better. Yup. Lit up the tower. This thing is getting built. So we'll just start with containers, then assemblers, refineries, wind turbines, and all the thrusters can go last. So we are pretty much expanding the base, but just in a way that we can disconnect it later and fly away. Alright, another progress update. I'm slowly welding up the ship. There are some assemblers there that are built. Look at this sandstorm. Everything looks so cool in it. But yes, you can see I completed the conveyor line and started welding up some assemblers. I put them in cooperative mode to assemble stuff quicker. Also did some mining for nickel and iron. You know, just the usual grind. Oop, got launched up. Sometimes when I get stuck in this spot here, I just get yeeted up in the air. It's very funny. Well, we might want a bigger welder ship eventually, because this one is not exactly really fast. Oh, unknown signal, it's going to explode. They explode when their timer expires. So that's what happens to them. Yeah, the thrusters will be the most expensive part, I guess, of course. Also gyroscopes. Yeah, 30k iron and 6k nickel per thruster, and we'll need like 25 of them. Iron is not a problem, but nickel, that's quite a lot of it. So we'll just keep expanding our refining capacity. Well, let's see gyroscopes also. They mostly consume iron, so it's fine. And batteries... Yep, same deal. So it's just thrusters, which... nothing really unusual about them. Damn. The ambience of this is just so cool. All 4 additional assemblers are operational, and I set them to cooperative mode, so they help the main assembler by taking some of its production and doing it themselves. I also started... it's not visible from here. I also started assembling some wind turbines. On this thingy, let's add another spotlight going upward so we can see them. Where can we add it? Like right here will be good enough. Okay, now it's somewhat visible. I welded 16 wind turbines out of... Well, let's see how many there would be. 128, I guess, so far we have space for. That's quite a bit of power output, like 60 megawatts, maybe? Should be enough to operate a lot of stuff. But it still will need to recharge quite a bit before flying around. But it's fine. It's not going to be flying all the time. Most of the time it will be docked. Will be landed. Actually, I need to test if it needs to be converted to station to generate power, or if just landing with a landing gear to the terrain is enough. Okay, it seems like you don't have to convert to static. Just having a landing gear locked to the ground is enough. So, yep, that's good to know. Oh, I unlocked and they still rotate. Will they stop? Yeah. Output 0. Oh, they are slowing down. Okay, I see. So they gradually speed up and slow down in the animation. By the way, this is a crappy old ship of mine that is quite popular on the workshop. It's not very well designed, but compared to stuff on the workshop, it's around the same level. Because everything else in the workshop is also very hard to service and very underpowered in terms of thrust. So I do like it's just insane detailing of me just spamming random blocks around the place. I'm not sure what I did with the atmospheric and hydrogen thrust around this place. Like, you either only need hydrogen stuff or enough atmospheric to properly fly around, so this combination is a bit strange. I wonder, does it have enough thrust to fly in 1G or per times gravity 1.2G when unloaded with just atmospherics? Let's see. How do you turn them on? Oh my god, the control panel setup is just so big. Yeah, yes, it has enough thrust to hover lightly. So that's good, I guess. But yes, this is very underpowered in terms of thrust. Like, only 12 large engines for this massive carrier? Really? Very inconsequential, but I just rotated the welders here, so it's... you can see a little bit more to the side, plus the wiring on them looks really cool. Yup. By the way, still, 0 DLC blocks used. Just as a challenge. Plenty of stuff to do. Most DLC blocks are just fancy, but often they are much worse than their basic counterparts, like having larger sizes or missing a few ports. The stuff that's good is just decorational. Stuff that's not in the base game. But it's not needed for actually surviving or progressing. I guess one thing that's good in the DLC stuff is industrial cockpit, because it provides a higher view around you. It doesn't have a large port, but the large grid industrial cockpit, this stuff is really useful because it has a port at the top and then you can see stuff at the bottom, so it's pretty good. Yeah, actually there's only 2 cockpits for large grid, but there's so many of them for the small one. The fighter cockpit, there's 0 visibility out of that one. Flash cockpit, I actually haven't tried it, and it's not really DLC, it's like you subscribe to the newsletter, but you can just unsubscribe later. This stuff, just low visibility. Industrial cockpit I really like. Alright, let's see. Flash cockpit. Oh my goodness, look at all these buttons. That's pretty cool. And the visibility is pretty good actually. Compared to this cockpit, it's very similar. But damn, does it look good in here. The visibility could be a bit worse, I think, because of all these frames around it. But the fighter cockpit, this stuff, the visibility is just horrendous. Yeah, look at that. I can't see in front of me below at all. Like, it's all just stuff here. I guess it works as a fighter cockpit because you see in front of you, so that's good enough. The thing I don't really get about it is it's a lot bigger than the smaller cockpit. In terms of integrity, 5,500 and small one is 3,000, but the size difference is like you can armor the smaller cockpit a lot better, so it's kinda useless, to be honest, this big cockpit. Because it's a lot more vulnerable to getting hit in the first place. And the health doesn't really compensate for it that much. I mean, if it gets hit by something like a railgun, both of them will get destroyed anyway, so